I had to look up the definition of anomaly to make sure it fitted the vibe of this video. It officially means something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected. An irregularity, an exception, or a distinct oddity that stands out because it does not fit the usual pattern or rule. So yeah, that definition fits. Let's do it. Love you. Want to know the real reason why I stopped going into the woods? This pretty much explains it.
Where'd you just come from? I took the wrong way. Oh my goodness.
Did you see my other two guys?
What?
What?
Did you see my other two guys?
Did we see your other two guys? No.
You're supposed to go that way.
No, we're not supposed to go that way.
No.
Want to meet them?
No, we don't want to meet him.
I don't want to meet him.
How about not? I don't know.
Now, this video feels real to me. I get the impression that the people being followed by the face-painted lady are reacting pretty legitimately. I mean, weird stuff does happen in the world, and the general consensus in forums and comments is that the lady is either high or in some kind of mental distress. I'm just suspicious though, and I knew that the cropped video that I found on Twitter couldn't be the original.
What? Oh, why am I... Help me. Oh my goodness. Can't get over that? No. She said, here I come.
It took me a little while, but I'm sorry to say, this video is a hoax. A big fat phony, if you're a Family Guy fan. The original video is from a YouTube channel called Don't Blink Paranormal, and instead of it being 2 minutes long and square, it's actually over half an hour and widescreen.
She's trying to speak to her channel right now.
YouTubers, should I wear my orange outfit with this? Like the blue?
I feel like the worse quality the video became from being ripped again and again, and the further it moved from the original context, the more disturbing it became. I kinda wish I hadn't found out the truth on this one. One of TikTok's strangest accounts is called Marpin y la Rana, a Spanish language page centered on a life-sized wax figure named Juanito. The name roughly translates to Marpin and the Frog, although the meaning behind it is unclear. In the videos, Juanito is positioned around an ordinary home and appears in different outfits alongside unusual props. Occasionally, another figure joins him. Over the footage, a man's deep voice recites abstract poetry, philosophy, and social observations in Spanish.
Hola, si queréis gozar de la vida, uniros a TikTok. Os esperamos en Libre.
Some uploads have attracted tens of thousands of likes, allowing the account to surface unexpectedly in viewers' recommendation feeds. However, the project appears to predate TikTok by more than a decade. The profile leads to a blogspot page containing posts from at least 2010 until 2023. The writing shifts between dark poetry, political criticism, existential reflections, and intensely personal material. It discusses greed, violence, colonialism, mortality, and illness. Viewers have proposed several explanations. Some believe it is a long-running surrealist art project. However, none of this has been confirmed. Juanito's uncanny appearance obviously doesn't help, but the creepiness comes from more than just the way he looks. You get the sense that you are in someone's private world, one that has existed for many years, a world that would still be happening even if there was no TikTok, no Blogspot, or no audience at all. Makes you wonder what people on your street get up to in their homes. Maybe they have their own Juanito just waiting to meet you. I'm really quite sad about this one. This segment was meant to be longer, but the TikTok account was made private while I was making the video. I was actually going to make this video yesterday and the account was still public. So near, yet so far. Instead, I have had to collate as much content as possible from other sources, much of which came from a YouTube channel called Mary Mogg.
And we would talk to you this day of love. We would speak to you of love. Love not as you know it, as this moment, but we would speak to you of that infinite oscillation, the source of life, the source of all living things, which is love.
The Unarius Academy of Science left behind one of the strangest collections of homemade footage anywhere on the internet. Its videos resemble fragments from a forgotten late-night television channel, elderly performers in glittering robes, cardboard spacecraft, painted alien landscapes and solemn speeches about reincarnation, distant planets and humanity's future. Unarius was founded in California during the 1950s, by Ernest and Ruth Norman. Ernest described himself as a clairvoyant capable of receiving messages from extraterrestrial beings and historical figures. Ruth recorded his teachings, helped publish their books, and eventually became far more visually associated with the movement. After Ernest died in 1971, Ruth became its leader and primary channeler. She adopted the name Uriel, which followers said represented universal, radiant, infinite, eternal light, and claimed to be an archangel connected to an interplanetary confederation. Wearing elaborate wigs, illuminated gowns, and royal costumes, she delivered teachings from a gold-colored throne, decorated with peacock feathers. Ruth predicted that benevolent beings known as the Space Brothers would arrive on Earth in a fleet of spacecraft. Unarius purchased 67 acres near Jamul, California, intended as their landing site. Followers prepared a welcome banner, arranged transportation, and expected the visitors to introduce advanced technology while ending disease, conflict, and crime. The landing did not happen. Ruth revised the expected date several times, eventually settling on 2001. She explained one of her failed predictions through a past life memory in which she had been Isis and experienced a traumatic event shortly before another extraterrestrial arrival. This belief in past lives also produced Unarius's extraordinary film archive.
Why do you think I sent you to that pleasure planet? To have fun? You come back a complete robot! Not my robot, somebody else's robot! When I send you for information, I send you for information. Volna does not go to the pleasure planet for fun, for recreation. An idiot agent, like that little joiner, scrambles your brains up so you don't remember your name even.
Beginning in the late 1970s, members created more than 100 television programs and several feature-length productions. These were not presented simply as fictional entertainment. They were described as psychodramas, through which followers could recreate earlier incarnations and release the emotional consequences attached to them. Members dressed as rulers, scientists, alien warriors, and creatures from distant worlds. Elaborate trials were staged to confront actions supposedly committed millions of years earlier. The productions used hand-painted scenery, homemade costumes, public locations, and improvised special effects. Despite their limited budgets, the participants performed everything with absolute seriousness.
But you didn't know I was really 40 years old, did you? 40-year-old baby. And I can say you did it to me. The managers did it to me. They pushed and they prodded. And they wouldn't let me be. They wouldn't let me be myself.
It can look playful, colourful, and almost innocent, yet the performers appear to believe they are reconstructing genuine events from their own histories. The vast distance between what the viewer sees and what the participants must have believed gives every awkward costume and painted spaceship an unexpectedly weird vibe. Ruth died in 1993, 8 years before the revised arrival date. Unarius continued without her and still operates in El Cajon. Its films survived through public access television, bootleg recordings, exhibitions, and documentaries. Watching them now feels less like discovering an abandoned television program and more like opening an archive from a complete alternative reality, one its creators believed was every bit as real as our own.
In this and talk about why it's important to get these business leaders involved.
Well, this is our community and we want to come together. We want to share information that can help us grow and develop to provide a better experience. We're saying tourism. We want the people that come here to say that was...
On the morning of August 26, 2015, viewers of a local Virginia news program watched what appeared to be an ordinary live interview from the edge of Smith Mountain Lake. Reporter Alison Parker was speaking with Vicky Gardner, the executive director of the Regional Chamber of Commerce, about events planned for the lake's 50th anniversary. Behind the camera was photojournalist Adam Ward. The segment was light, routine, and being broadcast shortly before 7 in the morning. Then, without warning, a series of deafening blasts interrupted the conversation. Alison attempted to move away as Adam's camera dropped towards the ground. For several seconds, the live broadcast continued transmitting confused images and sound before the station returned to anchor Kimberly McBroom in the studio. She appeared unsure of what had happened, initially considering whether the noises could have come from a vehicle backfiring nearby. Alison, age 24, and Adam, age 27, both had their time on this earth ended at the scene. Vicky was struck in the back after curling into a protective position. Despite suffering severe internal injuries, she survived after undergoing emergency surgery. The person responsible was quickly identified as Vesta Lee Flanagan II, a former WDBJ reporter who had worked professionally under the name Bryce Williams. Flanagan had been dismissed from the station in 2013, following repeated conflicts and concerns about his behavior. Adam had reportedly filmed the moment police escorted him from the building after that dismissal. The attack was already extraordinary because it occurred during a live television broadcast, but what happened online afterwards made it even more disturbing. Flanagan had recorded the incident from his own perspective using a mobile phone. The footage showed him approaching the interview and pointing a black object towards Alison for several seconds without anyone reacting. The television lights reportedly prevented Vicky from seeing him clearly. He briefly lowered it, raised it again, and began the attack. Several hours later, while police were searching for him, Flanagan uploaded the recording to his Facebook and Twitter accounts. People scrolling through social media were suddenly confronted with footage of a real attack, sometimes through autoplay and without meaningful warning. The platform suspended his accounts, but copies had already begun spreading. News organizations then faced the question of whether showing the material informed the public or simply helped fulfill the attacker's apparent desire for attention. Flanagan was eventually located during a police pursuit. His vehicle left the road, and he was found critically injured inside. He later died in hospital. The original live segment remains one of the most surreal and horrifying things ever captured on live TV. Most of us get used to living in a safe bubble, so seeing a normal situation turn bad in real time is jarring and exposing.
Kung kawin ito ano to, tiyang to. Tiyang bang kawin? Ya, kung kawin eh.
Mulai ka sudah mulai ditangkap sudah.
Menaik kalap nito.
I can't really tell you how weird this video makes me feel. Let's just sit with it for a minute. Let me know what you think is going on here. Comment what you think this thing is. I really hate it. The truth is that this was just part of a promo shoot for a music festival in 2008. I just don't know how they could make it look so cursed. Anyway, moving on. Just a quick one. For some reason, my videos are normally seen by just 1 to 2% of my subscribers. I actually don't know why. Regardless of the reasons, it's making it extremely challenging to keep this show on the road. And I promise I don't like to do this. It makes me feel like Oliver Twist or something. But please do consider becoming a channel member. There are currently 343 of you, and I'm aiming for the crazy goal of 1,000 by the end of 2026. You get things like early access to videos, our behind-the-scenes podcast, and of course my eternal gratitude. Thank you, and I love you all. Now, back to the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm uploading daily true crime and dark content here on this channel, so make sure that you're subscribed, hit like on the video, and also drop a comment so you get shown more of my stuff.